In the same way in the flesh, no one has that right to violate you. You can extend that to an online presence. Block. Don't reply. Don't ever feel bad for blocking someone, please. If anybody says blocking someone is childish, it's not childish. The thing about like going to a party, a guy is moving to you, touching you, say no, don't do that, and don't do that again, and don't feel the need to explain yourself.
So just from a guy's perspective, I think it's actually very sexy to ask for consent. Like, it makes you a gentleman. Okay, so just kind of talking about solutions, right? Just a couple of quick questions. How do you make sexual consent like a very common phenomenon? Like, how do you make it commonplace in like your relationship, your interaction? So like for every kind of sexual encounter, you want consent first. How do you make that like very commonplace?
Okay, so I think with anything in life, practice makes perfect. We have to kind of figure out in the littlest ways to the biggest way to integrate consent into our everyday lives. Even in like, okay, you go out to a party, you're dancing, this guy, he's doing like, he lets like grazes your waist. Like, you can, start from that, like that kind of smaller interaction and say like, no, I do not like that.
Yeah.
Because
tell him off like straight up.
Straight up. Start with those, because I think it's especially if people have not explicitly, dived into the realm of being able to give and receive consent. It starts with the small things, and then you can build upon that to like, in that moment, you're about to have sex or whatever. So like, you're at a party, this guy is moving to, or even someone slides into your DMs, you don't have to entertain it. That's actually a consent thing. That is your personal online persona space. And the same way in the flesh, no one has that right to violate you. You can extend that to an online presence. Block. Don't reply. Don't ever feel bad for blocking someone, please. If anybody says blocking someone is childish, it's not childish.
Look at the camera.
It's not childish. It's very necessary. Okay. We can block people.
Yeah.
Or if someone comes up to you and says hi, you can say, I don't want to have this conversation. Obviously, gauge the thing that they're trying to just be like, friendly versus, what I think we all as adults have enough wherewithal to understand if someone is a threat or trying to be friendly. We can gauge that. But it starts in the little things. Don't be like rude and say like, okay, you're in an elevator and someone's trying to come in and just slam the elevator because you said I don't consent to you being in the elevator with me. Let's just there's balance to this. There's balance. Let's not take it too
Don't take it too far. Okay?
Don't take it too far. But you start to think that the thing about like going to a party, a guy is moving to you, touching you, say no, don't do that, and don't do that again, and don't feel the need to explain yourself.
Okay, that makes sense.
Don't feel the need to justify it. That's your body. That simple graze or whatever, simple graze. That person has invaded your space, your body, in a way that you do not permit. You don't need to explain yourself. So it starts with things like that. So when you get to that place that it's in the bedroom, it will just flow naturally. And I touched on being comfortable with yourself. When you're comfortable with your own vessel, you're comfortable like interacting with other people in this vessel, having that communication, and also just be comfortable talking about sex in general. So like, various sexual acts, like, just having those fluid conversations. And again, to have these conversations, you have to take the judgments out of it. Just, you can not want to do something and not be judgmental about it. You can say, it's just not my thing. Some people like chocolate ice cream. Some people like vanilla. Some people like salted caramel. You just say it's not just for me, but you have to just show that person you respect what they do, but it's not just for me. So you can show like compassion to that person and say you're free in your own autonomous being to move as you want consensually, and I, in my full right, consensually to say no to that. But it's all valid in its own way. So breaking down that stigma, we have to have those fluid conversations, especially as adults, interacting sexually with ourselves, with other people. It's just a very necessary thing, and that consent will come after it. And then also there is a segment of people, men and women, that no matter how much education, whatever, they are on, they're sexual predators.
That's what I mean.
There's no other, way you can, format, adjust this thing. That's just who they are. And, I have personal conversation about how do we, change in that person. Not like that person made like a mistake, they just misinterpreted that situation. They went out for the sole purpose of
doing that,
sexually assaulting people. So in that case, and if you found yourself in that situation, it's a hard one. You have to prioritize your safety over anything. So if you feel at that moment the best way for you to get out of that situation is being vocal, being aggressive, pushing, whatever, do that. And if you feel that the best way for you to make it out is to be more silent, is whatever is the safest for you in that moment. And again, it's never your fault. So there's nothing you can teach those people. There's just people in this world that are psychopaths, they're sociopaths, they're evil people.
Yeah.
And there's no amount of let's have these conversations that will change that. Even looking back into African and Caribbean cultural, what in the culture did we do wrong? What in the culture can we do better? There are those people in this world, and that's why we have the legal system. And again, it's not to push everybody, because victims of sexual violence, a lot of them don't feel comfortable and then don't feel represented, or anything will happen in the positive for them in the legal system. So that's why they don't go as well, and that's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah.
But we also have to acknowledge in this conversation that there are people in this world that, no matter how many TED Talks we have, conversations, teach it in school, from the moment they come out of the room, tell them this is how you don't rape people, this is how you don't sexually assault people. That is just a path that they're on, and we have to give credence to that there are
people like that. Just kind of add to what you said, just from a guy's perspective, I think it's actually very sexy to ask for consent. Like, it makes you a gentleman. Like, for every kind of activity, like, you want to know if the lady is giving you consent.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have sex with someone and there's consent, like, that's so sexy. But like, when you just come and you're all forceful and you don't if you're kind of forceful and just forcing everything, like, it just makes it very awkward. And I don't feel like responsible people do that. Like, if you going to be with the lady, just ask for consent as just a gentleman. It's very, very sexy. It's like, even if the lady says no, right, like, just walk away with your pride, right? It's not like a big deal, right? Just walk away with your pride. She's going to respect you a bit more, and like, you didn't even you kind of respect her opinions also, so that's going to really help the lady kind of value you more, right?
Yeah, and respecting her body and her, her womanhood and everything.
So I just feel like it's about like those conversations, like this knowledge, right? To kind of understand what consent means and understand what a lady saying no to you means, and kind of respect this. It kind of goes like both ways, right? Kind of respect the guy, respect the lady also, and like both parties have to be like on the same page.
Yeah.
And like, if someone says no, always respect their opinion.
And another thing I want to add in the conversation with consent is, believing people, because we have this narrative, especially I see a lot in African and Caribbean, even with this whole with all the recent happenings in Nigeria specifically, about everything that's arise, like the conversations we're having about, do we believe them? What happened? How the loopholes around it? Did she wear this? This short skirts, this thing, how she was posing on in her photo, that she posted 2 weeks ago, all of that thing to invalidate the experience, even in the case in Nigeria of someone being murdered, right? Especially in like places that we freak, church, school, workplace, home. It's not like, everybody likes to use a nightclub reference. It happens in nightclub, but if we bring up the studies, a lot of these assaults is in people's homes, school, work, churches. It's places that we feel semi-comfortable or all the way comfortable, or we even consider sanctuaries.
This is happening.
So there's a level of you're disarmed, because when you walk into your house, you don't expect anything bad to happen in your house, so you're naturally less on guard. You're disarmed. When you walk into church, the preference of a church is to be a holy place, a safe space. To the level of you should be disarmed in that. You shouldn't be like watching over your shoulders, like ready for, like you're walking down an alley in the middle of the night by yourself, So when someone abuses that place and abuses you in that place, it's a different kind of sting.
Like, it's so heartbreaking.
It's so heartbreaking. It's so hard. And then even to turn insult upon injury, for something to happen and then for people to say,
You should have been more careful.
You should have been more careful.
You didn't care about your safety.
You didn't care about your safety. Look at how she's carrying herself.
Yeah.
All of these kind of things. What did she drink? What did she eat? Who did she sleep with 3 years ago?
Sis.
This, that, this. They'll find every excuse in the book. Next to death, in my opinion, the next thing is like sexual assault. To have your physical, your spiritual, your everything violated in such a way, it's the most horrendous and transformative experience next to death, in my opinion. So to have that happen to somebody, and then for people, especially people in mass, if it goes into a public setting or is heard publicly, to find every single reason why that person is not at fault and why almost you deserved it or you did it to yourself, or it's like it's almost like you killed that person.
It makes no sense.
Over and over again. So with everything that's been recently happening on social media and this conversation, especially in the African and Nigerian context about rape, sexual assault, violence against women, one thing the main takeaway is that this is more common and than we know it is, or that we want to admit it is. But it's very hidden because it's a thing that we carry. A lot of women are taught to carry as a shameful thing. Yeah. Not even women, but men that have been sexually assaulted is a thing of shame. So the statistics say like 1 in 4 women throughout their lifetime will be sexually assaulted in their life. So if you look to your right, left, you most likely know multiple women that have gone through it. So men, women, in between, we most likely have people in our lives, people very close to us, that this is a pain that they carry. So to have that compassion and that willingness to learn and to be better and even hold other people accountable. Because a lot of men is like, they'll see their boys and whatever doing things that are problematic, but realize that, I hate to say that, it could be your daughter, it could be your mother, but it's true, it could be your daughter, it could be your mother. And if, God forbid, this same man that you were, defending to the death when you guys are young and you have a daughter and he does that to he does that to your daughter when you get older, what are you going to do?
Like, he's going to be crazy or something.
It's going to, there's no, that's my boy. So keep that in that context. That is something that is very close to us every single day, but we refuse to talk about it. And I want to end, rest in peace to Tina, to Uwa, and to Jennifer, going back to everything that's happening in Nigeria specifically right now. We really want to just give that to them and continue these conversations. It does not end here. This is an everyday thing. This is a conversation you have with your parents if you feel comfortable. Your partners, your girls, your boys. This is a conversation we have to find a way to integrate somehow into our daily lives.
Yeah, we can kind of go on and on about this, but if we see people kind of understand what consent is and make it very commonplace, like you said, it's going to be a very big win for every single person. So consent is very important. It's mandatory, and people have to understand that and kind of inculcate that in their daily life. So it's been a very interesting conversation today. So Femi, thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
And it's been awesome having Femi, the Femi Lala, right? Was it? So
Femi Lala, yes.
This kind of call. So this is all run by volunteers. So far, Convos is all run by volunteers. We just have people come on board and have conversations like this. So if you want to contribute, you want to join the team, just let us know. And then you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and you can subscribe to our YouTube page just down this blog. And let us know what you think. Tag your friends, share our videos, and we will see you in the next episode.